As my addiction evolved over time, I would get in these situations or circumstances where I would get paranoid thinking.
All right, we are back with top trial consultant Richard Gabriel, host of Cup of Justice podcast, Eric Bland, and criminal trial attorney Sarah Azari. Best in the business. They've been following this all very, very closely. Alex Murdaugh took the stand today in his own self-defense. We got to hear his story in his own words for the first time, and everybody's got an opinion. So let's get to Dusty and let's take some calls tonight. Look at Dusty's got the NewsNation T-shirt on tonight. I mean, you're up in your game, Dusty.
I am. I had to with you here.
Okay, what do we have?
Well, first of all, if the calls reflect what's going on in the minds of the juries, this case is going to be hung for sure because everybody has a different opinion on what they saw today. So let's kick it off with Sandy from Medford, Massachusetts.
All right, Sandy in Massachusetts. What's on your mind?
Hi, Brian. I think Alex boxed himself into a nasty corner today. He alleges he remembers all the people he stole from, but yet he can't remember any of the details to any conversations that he had with them. All this back and forth. How is he ever going to convince the jury he's telling the truth about the murders?
Very interesting. Sarah, she picked up on what I said I was confused about. She's much smarter than me. She picked up on your theory right there of what you said you thought they were doing.
Yeah, so Sandy, you know, that was actually something that I think backfires on the prosecutor, not him. Because the prosecutor could have asked the question specific to an instance and then let him answer it. He wasn't saying, I don't know, or I don't have a recollection of these conversations. He was saying, rather than asking me this open-ended question, ask me about a specific instance. So I expect that potentially on redirect, that Jim Griffin might flesh some of this out so that he doesn't look like he's got selective memory. That's what I would do.
All right, Dusty, we want to get as many callers in as we can. Who else we got tonight?
Okay, so right now on the other side, we've got Terry from Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Terry, what's on your mind?
Well, hey, Brian, I never thought I'd say this, but learning about the financial crimes is actually a bit of a blessing in disguise for the defense, in my opinion. It sounds like Alec had made so many enemies in this town. What's to say one of those enemies didn't decide to kill Maggie and Paul just to get back at him?
Interesting. Eric, what do you think? Because I have to say, I was thinking the same thing, and I had friends texting me today who have been following this so closely and were so on the side of thinking he was guilty that we're sort of thinking the same thing, Eric.
The only problem with that theory is that he wasn't outed on any of the financial crimes until after the murder. Nobody had come forward and said he stole money. Nobody, the law firm didn't do anything external by going to the police or calling victims. So that just doesn't make a lot of sense because the discovery of the financial crimes postdated the murders.
This is why it's so good we have Eric, because you know the ins and outs of these financial crimes so well. Okay, Dusty, let's get to the next one.
Okay, because we do have quite a few. Michael from Detroit, Michigan.
Okay, Michael, what did you think today with them taking the stand?
Yeah, Brian. He confessed to lying about being at the scene of the crime and quite literally shaking in his boots up there. You don't lie about where you are when your wife is being brutally murdered. Do you think the defense can get past this?
Let me put that one to Richard, because at the end of the day, he knows the jurors, and it's all about the jurors at the end of the day. What do you think, Richard? Do you think the defense can get past it, or do you think the fact that he lied and that they wanted to bring it up is actually going to backfire and hurt him?
Well, I think it's difficult. I mean, I think everybody's going to do what this caller is going to be doing, which is, what would I do in a situation like that? And they would say, boy, if I'm there, I want to be fully disclosing. Why would he do it? Obviously, he provided an explanation that he was paranoid, he had the opioid addiction, and that he felt threatened by the police. But the question is, you know, in that same circumstance, what would I do? And I think jurors are going to bring their own things. The truth is that the evidence is one thing, but what ultimately happens in a trial is that the jurors make up their own story in terms of what they think happened according to their own personal beliefs, their own experiences, and what they think comports with what behavior it makes sense to them. So I think that's ultimately what they're going to look at, and I can't tell you one way or the other, but I think just by him staying on the stand for such an extended period of time, it's going to give these jurors a lot to work with in both cases.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of News Nation's fact-driven coverage.